Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and for all those that have spoken this morning. Put the dates in your head now. March the 5th and April the 2nd as the next two demonstrations. Because today is big. Let's make March even bigger. April, it's springtime. We need a spring demonstration that fills all the streets of London. And today we are one of over 20 demonstrations all around the country. 20 demonstrations protesting about living standards, about wages, about conditions, about oppression, and about trying to unite different causes. Because what we've had in this country now is 12 years of austerity. 12 years of frozen and falling wages for many people, 12 years of underfunding public services, 12 years of privatisation in our National Health Service, and now a whole new set of threats of yet another round of austerity being promoted by Rishi Sunak in order to, as he terms it, pay off the COVID debts. The economics they're putting forward are serious and very, very dangerous. What they're saying is that the way forward is to cut public expenditure, increase taxation charges through national insurance on average earnings and poorer people, and give tax breaks to the very wealthiest and develop tax-free free ports around the country. A whole strategy of creating a more divided and more impoverished society than we have
the first thing I want to say is that Boris Johnson knows a liar, but he should have been arrested and he should have been locked
arguing
up.
with people about the need for increasing tax at the top end, a wealth tax, a windfall tax, all of those things that are so important. But you know what? The same arguments are being put by young people in the United States and Canada, being put by young people all across Europe, and indeed those wonderful, heroic people that have achieved so much in winning elections in Bolivia and Chile are putting forward those same arguments about redistribution of wealth and power. Earlier this week, I was invited by our friends in Spain to a meeting organised, a very big meeting organised by Podemos there on tax justice. They want us to be united across the national borders in our opposition to the politics and the economics of austerity and the oppression which accompanies it. And today we've got some fantastic campaigns in this square and in many other places. And I just think of some of the things that are affecting this country at the moment. Did you know that there are now more food banks than there are branches of McDonald's in Britain? That is modern Britain, where people, like I'm sure all of us here, give whatever we can and give food and support and so on to food banks. But I don't want there to be food banks. I want people to be paid properly and be able to live properly, so they don't have to go and queue up for food being donated by others.
Stop whistleblowers being blacklisted!
You work, brother.
Let whistleblowers work!
Whistleblowers should be recognised for what they are, great people doing a good job. Thank you very much. And it is about the Right to Food campaign. It is about the right to fair and decent wages. And I'm delighted that there's people here from the UCB. That's about the police bill. I'm not affected by that. That's about nationality and borders. I'm okay. I don't need to know about that. You sort of walk by on the other side and leave people to campaign in their own silo. Take down the silo walls and unite the campaigns together. Unite those campaigns together so that we support the WASPy women in their very just demand for decency and fairness. We support all those campaigning for a clean, green environment. A clean, green environment and a green industrial revolution to go alongside it, so that we do create jobs and hope out of protecting the natural world and the environment. We support those campaigning to stop our NHS being sold off, and stop allowing the media, stop allowing the right-wing mainstream media to put out this disgusting, horrible message that somehow or other our living standards, our services, our housing and our problems are caused by refugees and migrant workers in Britain. There are 70 million refugees around the world, and in a different place, a different time, and a different circumstance, every single one of us in this square could be a refugee, wanting to live and make our contribution to this world. So stop the demonisation and enhance the solidarity with them. But we do face problems of an attack on our right to protest. Here today, the Gypsy, Roman and Traveller community are represented here. I am disgusted when anybody makes any racist remarks anywhere, and racist remarks on television or anywhere else, or attacking Gypsy, Roman and Traveller people. And so we have to stand in solidarity with them, and opposition to the police bill, because what it does is prevent our right to demonstrate. So join in with the Kill the Bill protest to try and stop that disgusting piece of legislation, just as much as we should be opposing the Borders and Nationality Bill, which empowers the Home Secretary to take away the nationality of a very large number of people in this country. That's going on over there in that building. It is dangerous, it is wrong, and we have to stand in opposition to it. It can be done, but it does mean that unity we have to have. I'd just like to say this as well. Wage levels and levels of DWP payments are insufficient for people to live on. I am meeting people in my constituency who 10 years ago thought they had a reasonable job and could live reasonably, now having to use food banks even that they are in work, unable to pay excessive private sector rents, and more people becoming homeless and desperate and destitute as a result of that. It's that unity of campaigning for a redistribution of wealth and power in our society in favour of the working class communities and the poorest. And so, I want to just say this about the way in which people grow up in our communities. Our children go to school. They go to school in order to learn, in order to socially develop, and all the great things that can come from a great education system. And it's always been my pleasure to work with the Teachers Union and teachers all over the country and others in developing that wonderful sense of imagination that children have. The music, the poetry, the hope, the enthusiasm they have. But our education system is overstressed, underfunded, over-tested, and our children become overstressed as a result of that. And the competitive element in secondary education leads to far too many young people losing hope and enthusiasm as they cast aside because their school isn't top of some fictional league or other. And then if they get to go to university, being told to go get themselves massively into debt just because they want an education. And then they go into work, the difficulty of getting a permanent job, the difficulty of getting an apprenticeship, and the low wages that are paid to so many young people, and then the very high rents they have to pay in the private rented sector because they can't get council housing and certainly have no chance of anywhere to buy. We're squeezing the enthusiasm, the optimism and the life out of young people. I want us to build a society fit for the next generation. not one that takes away their hope and enthusiasm. So, when we meet, when we march, when we demonstrate, it's all of us in all our campaigns and all our variety and all our diversity coming together. And I say to the Treasury building over there, to the MPs over there, I've always noticed, whenever they want money for arms, for weapons and war, it's always there. When you ask for money for benefits, when you ask for money for housing, when you ask for money for councils and the health service, you've got to be very careful. You can't afford this. A nation that can afford to spend so much on nuclear weapons and other weapons and be prepared, wrongly in my view, to get involved in a war in the Ukraine can well afford to support the poorest communities in this country. In our strength, in our enthusiasm, in our unity, we will change it, we will prevail, and we will create that solidarity that will bring about a better, more hopeful future for this and the next generation. Thank you very much.